Welcome back, my dear friends. My name is Emmy, my husband is Paul, and this is the channel Frugal Money Saver. How are you all doing? We're doing really well, thank God. Hope this video finds you all well. We just came off of a really fun weekend, and we wanted to take you along. We actually went to the Stormville Flea Market here in New York, which is a pretty big antique-y kind of flea market. We're going to take you up to the flea market with us, show you what we bought, show you what we didn't buy. We're also going to be making a 3-ingredient spice cake with brown sugar icing. Oh my goodness. So stick around. We have so much we want to share with you. If you are new here, my husband Paul and I are an early retirement couple living in the state of New York. We just basically show you how we live a very full, content life with less money. And we share the tips and hints we use on a daily basis. So if this sounds good to you, stick around. Okay, let me start this off by saying, Saturday morning we got up and we're like, oh yay, the Stormville Flea Market. Let's go, let's see the treasures we can find. It was a beautiful day and you'll see that. And I'm gonna show you some footage of it, but I want you to get a feel for what I'm talking about. We were very disappointed coming away from it all. The main reason was prices for flea market items was out of control, over the top. But it was a wonderful day, and I'm going to show you all the positives, and then we're going to talk about the balance between wants and needs. We're taking a beautiful trip up north just a little bit, and I am going to show you our countryside. A lot of people, I think, associate New York with living in the city, and we are nowhere near the city. We're actually an hour north of the city. So I'm just going to show you some of the causeways we go over as This is our first stop. We're headed up to the Stormville Flea Market. Sorry for the sound of the cars behind us, but I am going to show you why I pulled over. Look what I found. Okay, we were talking about this when I showed you all my Pyrex collection. Red Pyrex. I am super excited. So we are going to grab this and we're going to add it to the collection. Okay, we're here, the Stormville Flea Market. Got to wear our masks, but that's okay. We're so happy to be here. They're stopping us to make sure we all have masks. You have to show the mask before you come in. We are in an abandoned airport. That's where this flea market is. You can see here's the runway, and we're gonna park and we'll take you along. Oh, it's so bright and beautiful. We stopped and I did get that red Pyrex for $5. He wanted 10, but I talked him down. So that was our first find on the way up. So we have our little cart that Paul repurposed, and what we did was we stuck a bag in here to collect all our treasures. Not that we're going to be getting that much, but you never know what you might find. So let's get to shopping. Look at all these beautiful
We had
ones.
some at a tag sale. We actually
Little
did.
butter
People
dish
bought a
is
few pieces, you know.
55.
We looked them all up. And,
We got
but they
30.
weren't buying as much as now. All of a
The
sudden, it's
4
fine.
quart. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's
Funny
60.
how it-
Does this look familiar? Okay, here we are. Again, I'm just showing you some prices. 95. Okay, here you go. All right. Being that this is a frugal channel, you're going to see the advantages of doing tag sales. Okay, instead of paying full price. Did score on the way up at a side of the road tag sale. Some man had tables set up. We pulled over and I scored my beautiful red Pyrex for $5. We had talked about how I wanted a red Pyrex. So, I mean, this was just an absolute blessing. Can you guys see how pretty? We got to the flea market and the prices were so overinflated. Now, this is where it comes to wants and needs. There were so many things there that I think we would have bought, no question asked, if we weren't conscious of where our money was going. The Pyrexes alone were so gorgeous. Did you see those prices? To me, it wasn't worth it, not even a little bit. The main question we needed to ask ourselves, what is our priorities? Where are your priorities? If your purchases are not lining up with priorities, then this is where the problem comes in. If you're going and purchasing items and your bills are not being paid, you're not being able to put money away, then there's an issue there. You have to relook, revamp, and refigure out how to bring your purchasing down so that your priorities are in order and your bills can be paid. Is there a balance? Absolutely. My $5 bowl that I was blessed with was a total want. Total want. And it cost me $5. I can justify a $5 want. I cannot justify a $50 little Pyrex butter dish. That would be, to me, a waste of money, a waste of resources, Paul's resources, just not a good idea. So there has to be that check and balance between what our wants and needs are. It is so important that we are able to not live a life of deprivation. So you have to find the little ways, the under your budget ways that bring you joy, bring you some happiness, put a smile on your face, but don't break your budget. It's a fine line there. But only you know what you can spend, how much you want to save, what needs to be put aside for bills and expenses. You only know that. Please, please keep in mind. Don't let our priorities, and this is Paul and I too, you have to keep them in check and realize what is a want, what is a need. We can never ever go through life, I don't think, without indulging in wants. I don't. Even if it's $1 candy bar. That's not a need, it's a want. But it's something that we're giving ourselves a little bit of pleasure, not costing a lot of money, and we're still staying within our budget, which is so important. The wants, the needs, and the balances of the two. Now we're going to move into the kitchen. You know I make a meal once a month for my in-laws as part of their Christmas gift. Well, I made a 3-ingredient spice cake with a brown sugar icing. You can even leave the icing off if you want to be really economical and just do the cake itself with some powdered sugar. But oh my goodness, here it is. We're trying a super simple recipe today. As you know, once a month, I make a complete meal for my in-laws. That was their Christmas gift. And I always include dessert with it. Now, I looked online. I had a spice cake mix, which is one of my favorites. And I also, in my freezer, if you can see, I had 15 ounces of pumpkin. I wrote on the lid. And I'm going to defrost that. 2 eggs. And this is our 3-ingredient cake I am going to make. It got really good reviews on the internet, so let's see how it comes out. And then to top it, I am going to make a simple caramel frosting with a little bit of butter, some milk, brown sugar, and we'll see how this comes out. Okay, so let's get right to work. In my mixer, I have the cake mix, and now here is my defrosted pumpkin. It's 15 ounces. So glad I had this in the freezer. The original recipe, and I will link it down below, only called for pumpkin and cake mix. And then I read through the reviews and they said really add some eggs to it. It will give it such a better flavor and a better texture. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to add 2 eggs. And just because I'm feeling a little spicy, you like that? I'm going to add about 1/4 teaspoon more of pumpkin pie spice. But you could even add cinnamon to give it a little more punch, whatever you prefer. You don't have to use anything at all. Now I'm just going to put on the beater and I'm just going to mix it. I greased 2 8-inch pans, and what I'm actually going to do is they're not going to want an entire double layer cake. So I'm actually going to make 2 8-inch pans, and we will keep one. I can freeze it, or if Paul wants it, we can have that with a little bit of icing on it. I know that the one cake will be absolutely perfect for them, and they won't feel bad if they can't finish it all, but I think they're really going to enjoy this. It's a very, very thick batter, as you're seeing. So we're going to have to spread this out. And these pans are greased, and my oven is preheating to 350. And we'll see what kind of rise this is going to come up with too. But it could not be easier. How simple was that to make? And minimal ingredients. Super quick, super easy. I had everything on hand. Now I'm going to pop this in the oven. It says to cook for 18 to 25 minutes. So I'm going to check it at 18 because these are smaller cake pans, and we'll see if it rose and how it looks. These cooked for 18 minutes and they look wonderful. They smell amazing. I'm going to let them cool in the pan for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to put them on the wire rack to cool completely. They don't have a tremendous amount of rise to them, but I think that's okay. We have to understand that we didn't add the oil it called for on the original box recipe and the water, but I think this is going to be amazing, and we're using up what we have. So let's let these cool. I'll transfer them, and then we'll make the icing. We're going to make our caramel frosting. I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of butter, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and I'm going to take 3 tablespoons of milk. We're going to mix this together, get that butter all nice and melty. So the butter melted, and now what we're going to do is we're going to wait for it to come to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, we're going to allow it to boil for 1 minute. That's it, just a minute. It started to boil. I lowered it to low. It was on medium to get everything melted. We're going to allow it to boil for 1 minute without mixing. Now I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to take 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, and I'm going to add it to our caramel mixture, and I'm going to give this a quick stir. So I let it cool for a few minutes, and I just kept giving it a good whisking. That's what I did, and as you can see, it's definitely much thicker now. So what I would tell you to do is whisk it and let it cool till the desired consistency. And then this is, I think, going to be more of a glaze than a frosting, and I think once it cools, it will completely set up though. So we're going to put this on the cake. This just makes enough for one 8-inch cake. And I would think if you're making a bundt cake, this would be enough to pour over the top. But if you're making a 2-layer cake and you have to frost the middle and the sides, then by all means I would double this recipe. Yeah, it's definitely spreading like an icing. Now I think we're gonna have the other problem. I hope it doesn't get too hard, but I think they will love this. We're going to taste ours. We're certainly not going to cut into theirs. I am going to make another batch of icing and we will taste this and we will let you know how it comes out. So this is ours now that we did. It looks delicious. Look at it. And you can see the inside, beautiful. So now it's the taste test time. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was encouraging. We can indulge in our wants once in a while if they are within budget. I think that's the key word. Are they within budget? Do we have our priorities straight? And that cake and that icing, oh my goodness. Now what I'm going to tell you to do, to send the icing over the top, and I mean over the top, add a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon to it. We made one batch of icing and we tasted it. It was kind of missing something. So we added a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Oh my gosh, to our second batch, over the top. It was so delicious. And don't think of this as only an autumnal dessert. Well, it kind of has the spice and the pumpkin. Believe me, any time of year, this cake was so good. It really was. So economical too. It's stuff that you probably have already in your pantry. So again, thank you for spending this time with us. We love to be with you. We appreciate you so much. Honestly, we do. You have no idea. We love you. We wish you blessings. And until our next video, be well. See you in a couple days. Bye-bye.